Hey everybody! Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Bubble low-code web application development platform. This is a system that's supposed to enable you to be able to build a functioning website with some application-like functionality. I'd say it belongs to a category of software as a service tools called low-code platforms. There are a number of companies like Bubble that promise to enable businesses to develop online application tools very easily and without much technical knowledge, which of course lowers the cost dramatically because you have less need for development labor. So there's a big interest in tools like this within big business, especially when it comes to cost-conscious executives. According to Gartner, this is a growing, large industry, and according to their figures, 64% of all new business applications may be built on low-code platforms like Bubble within a few years. I'm focusing on Bubble today because I've heard from a friend who runs a trucking business good things about this platform. He recently used it to build a system to track his business assets and upcoming trucking jobs. So as you're going to see here in a moment, Bubble allows you to build a web page with a drag and drop visual editor, and the page elements that you drop can be coded with functionality and tied to a database. So you're going to watch me try to build this small application here using this system, and I'll be giving my opinion about the platform as a web developer as I go along. So let's get started. So one of the things I think makes Bubble kind of impressive at first glance is the amount of resources they give you to help you learn their platform. They have a lot of videos, they have a very good documentation manual, and there's also interactive lessons where they'll kind of walk you through building an application and showing you how to set up the buttons and features, and it's very hands-on. So for me starting to learn this thing, one of the first steps I did was go through all of the interactive tutorials. So here's the demo application that I am going to try building in Bubble just to test out this application and see how much I like it as a developer in Ruby on Rails, but using Bubble today. So I want to make just a plain ticketing application, like a ticket management thing, like a tech support sort of application, where you have a type of user who's a submitter of requests, and this person will fill out a form, thereby creating a document. Maybe they could attach a document to it. We'll see how easy that is to do. They're going to submit that form, and in the system it's going to make an open status ticket. And what I'd like to have happen is on the reviewer end, they could log in and see the ticket list and see the various tickets in the open status, move one into the in progress status, and go ahead and add comments or additional notes attached to that ticket. So once they're done with that, they're going to go ahead and close it out into the closed status, in which case it should disappear from the main list. So that gives us a few interesting data elements to work with here, and I know how I would do this in a Ruby on Rails program, but we're going to try to figure out how to do it in a Bubble program. We need to figure out a user management system where we could have different roles for each user. I'm going to have to figure out a way of populating the users, and we're going to have a ticket data model that also has a state machine in it for the tickets where we can move them through the process. And then along with that, I'd like to have a one-to-many relationship with notes and comments. By the way, if you're enjoying this video or you find it useful, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a like so that I have some good feedback, and then I'll know what to focus on and could probably make more videos reviewing application platforms like this one. So here are some notes I came up with of what we're going to need. We're going to make the user data model. We're going to have two types of user, the submitter and the reviewer. And we're going to have a screen so that the user can submit the ticket with a file attachment. The file attachment will be the bonus part. I'm not sure if I'll get to that in this video, but we'll have along with that randomly generated reference number for the ticket, which is you need a way of referencing individual tickets If you're doing a Ruby on Rails database, it's pretty easy. You could just use the ID number of the database row, but it'll be interesting to see what Bubble gives us that we could use here. We need to have an enumeration of state and have that one-to-many relationship. And along with that, we're probably going to need a few different views here or pages. We need one for the creation of a ticket. We need one for viewing the ticket status and all the notes are being added to it. And we need the admin view of the existing tickets so they could see what's in queue. I don't know for this show if, like, for adding comments and changing what we could do on the form to maybe make part of it appear or disappear depending on the user state. I think we could do that in Bubble, so that the end user who submitted the ticket can't see the buttons to change the state of it or maybe even add a comment. I don't know, maybe we could make them able to add comments or not, but certainly not change the state to done. And I'm not going to have a sign up on this database. I just want the users to be able to pre-register, meaning the admin of the system would register the users in the database. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. Oh, that's interesting. So we're going to have like a more technical name here. All right, we could call it support tickets demo. Oh, interesting. So it looks like Bubble gives you a landing page to work with as a template. This certainly seems designed for non-technical people to be able to work with, because they have a lot of like these sort of tutorial things where they kind of handhold you through the process. So this is interesting, connecting with external APIs. You could probably, for a really complex application, you could probably have this connect to a back-end API of your system, and then Bubble would be kind of your front end that sort of replaces or accelerates what you would normally do using a system like React. So as just a front-end design, that's an interesting idea, and I wonder how well this works, but I think that's for another video. Okay, so I guess we're on a landing page, and there is a lot here to change. What did I just do? Did I just shrink this page? Oh, okay. Here's you could test out how it works responsively this way, I guess. Is this what the page will always look like? No. Okay. That's just a test responsive design. I guess this just tests how it's going to expand. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and try to make a login form. How do we do that? New page. Login. Okay. Actually, no, I'm going to go back here. Wow, all these are absolute positions. Interesting. Okay. This is weird. I don't want any of this garbage. Bye. No, I don't want to get started. No thanks. I just want my title here. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay. Oh wait, here we go. This is demo ticketing app. Alright. Let's see how it works in a responsive design. And okay, so that's how it works responsively. Okay, we'll get rid of some of this garbage. Oh, what is this? Is this some type of component? This header component? Because I can't change it. What's in here? Header. How do I change this? Oh, here we go. Edit element. Okay, I want to get rid of this garbage. Yeah, we'll get rid of this junk. Okay, now we just go back to, there we go, back at the index page. Okay, so it's kind of plain now. Oh, by the way, let's take a look at what this looks like in the web browser when we're signing in. Okay, so responsively. Okay, responsive design works. Interesting. Let's take a look at the HTML it generates. So we're doing this. Okay. See, now this is interesting how this works out. Positioning is absolute. So they must have this absolute within some type of container, I'm guessing. Here, what happens if we like move this over here a little bit? What happens? So now we're looking at that. What does style look like? It's inside this H1 container, and positioning is absolute. Oh, left and top is still that. But here, the container that the bubble element is in, the box, has, there we go. So that's a little bit of the inner workings of it. It sets absolute positions within the containers that they're in. And let's see what happens if we do left negative 14. Oh, px. Yeah, it shifts it over to the left, which is going to be outside of that container. Okay, where were we? Okay, so I want to make the login form. Let's do a... oh, not a text box. Probably want an input, right? Input. Oh, here we go. Input, username, password. Here, the email. Password. Now, do they have a special one for password field? No, you wouldn't want the password exposed. So how do we set this to act like a password field? Oh, here we go. Content format, password. Interesting. Okay. So do a button. I don't know where all these things are yet. Oh, here we go. So this isn't wired up to anything yet. But I'm curious, if you click this now, where does it go? Oh, where does this header thing go? We have to edit the header. Huh. How did we get there? Oh, reusable elements header. Okay, we're editing that. Where does this go? Oh, okay, so it's not clickable right now. So I guess if we, I guess that's just kind of a dummy. I guess that's just kind of a dummy placeholder for now. Oh, what is this? What just happened? That's glitchy. Okay. So I want to get back to the index page and run my preview. What happens if we click this? Oh, what is this? Sign up or log in. Oh, it has its own modal form. Why did I just create a login form then? Okay. So what's going on here? Oh, what do you know? There's a sign in login pop-up that's already created, and I didn't realize that. Okay. But maybe we don't want to do... Okay, so what happens? How does this text change? It's dynamic, I think. Whoops. says sign up. Because I want it to just be log in. In this, I don't want people signing up. I only want certain types of people to be able to log tickets. So how do I change that? Yeah, this changes to log into my app, so it's a different form displays. I wonder if that's like some sort of a partial. So you have this here. Is there something behind it? No. How are they changing it? Do they have multiple things on this page? What's going on? Okay, that's interesting. It shows you a little preview. So here. Group login, log into my app. Okay, so I guess those are group elements on this reusable component. So we have the pop-up, and we have this group. Oh, why was this hidden? Oh, that is so weird. It's a little confusing what's going on here. Why sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. So so now that I click that and we could see that, what did I just do? I see multiple things here. This doesn't look good. Okay, so that group is only seen when this mode is empty or the mode is sign up. So what is mode? See, it'd be interesting. Like, I wish there was a more consolidated way of seeing what variables are available on this page, and maybe there is, and I'm just not aware of it yet. But where are all the data elements available here? Oh, now if I hit the reset password, this other thing comes up. I'm going to switch back to that. See, all these things are overlaid. Why can't I just work on one at a time? It's confusing. So if we go back to index, and then we go back here, it's reset. How is this getting reset? This wasn't in the tutorial I did yesterday. It's a little confusing. Because I would like the default to just be login. Okay, so why don't we do this? Conditional. This is the pop-up. Group sign up. Okay. And make it not visible. So what happens? Here we go back. Ah, there we go. I had to make it not visible. Okay. So we go login. We make this visible on page load. All right. I wonder if that'll get me what I want. Sign up. And darn it. We're back to the sign up thing. That trick didn't work. Now, what is mode? Where is mode set? Mode is some sort of variable that's being stored on this page, but I don't know where it's coming from. Is mode something that's built into the state of a pop-up or group? I'm assuming it is. Evaluates to text. So there's some sort of text field that's being set. And I wonder if maybe if we look at the workflows here, aha, when login button is clicked, what happens? When the button switch to login is clicked, it sets this custom state here, mode. Okay, that's what it's doing. There's a custom state on this page. So how do we make the default custom state what we want it to be? Well, if I get rid of these conditions, here, I'm going to get rid of these conditions. Oh, remove condition. There's a remove condition button. Okay, so then we shouldn't see that thing anymore. Okay, let's see if we set this up so that you only see login. Ah, there we go. So now the login displays by default. Good. And this sign up button doesn't work. Okay, so I don't want to have like a sign up on this thing. At least not yet at this point, because it's not that type of application. Okay, so we successfully hacked this thing a little bit. By the way, it's a lot to take on a new platform like this. When I have the goals for the ticketing application, and I showed the general workflow of how this works, that's actually a lot of work, and I'm not sure if I'm going to finish all of it for this video, or I might have to make a series about that. So right now we're just kind of hacking this application and showing a little bit of how it works. So let's look at what their data looks like. Okay, data types, there's a user. Can we make a user? Like, how much control do we have over the database? I want to create a user. Okay, create user. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll create a user called demoadmin@example.com. Okay. So let's take a look at all the users we have. Okay, so this is kind of like your database table thing here. And I assume that you could probably export this, and if your application grows into a larger scale, you could export this data into, I guess, like a Ruby on Rails type of schema or something of that nature. Let's see what sort of export options we got. Oh, not part of my plan. Okay. Have to pay him money for that. But, okay, so we have this email address. How do you log in? What would be the password for that user? Well, I want to be able to log into my own system, so maybe I shouldn't have gotten rid of the sign up page. Okay, let's go through that sign up process and see what happens. So we'll change the conditions here. I'm going to change this so that you can't see this. Sign up. Okay. Okay, I think I signed up and I'm logged in now. So let's log out. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's go take a look at what format that data is stored in the database now. I don't know if that user was successfully created. Okay, well, it's letting me log in. Okay, incorrect password. All right. Interesting. So that thing I created in what I thought was the database seems to be a different user from whatever this is. That's confusing, because I thought this database was like your database where the users would be, but apparently not. So how do your users get populated? Oh, okay, so I reloaded the page, and it seems that this page didn't refresh properly. There's actually more here. Interesting. But I still don't know how the password is being saved. That is really weird to me. Unique ID. I can't change the password from the back end, and that's kind of concerning. So that makes creating the admin, I might have to create like a separate admin for the users, I think. I'm not really sure. And how do we add roles to the user? How would we add like a role to the data type? That's an interesting question. Okay, so it has a special procedure for user management. Create an account for someone else. So right off the bat, that's one area where you have a little bit less control over your application versus if you were just doing a custom build in Ruby on Rails, is that the user management is kind of set up for you in part of their platform. So you have a little bit less control there, but is it less control in a way that really matters? If you're just trying to make some sort of a minimum viable product or prototype or something, I don't know yet. But it kind of corners you in a certain way of thinking. Okay, so just so that we can move along here, I'm going to go ahead and try to create the ticket form, the form where I'm going to be able to submit some sort of a ticket request that will be reviewed by somebody on the other end of the application. Since I'm having trouble figuring out how to assign roles to users and how to create users from the back end, since the system kind of forces users to have to kind of sign up through a sign up page, I'm going to postpone that problem to later. And for now, I'm going to focus on getting the workflow done so that we could create some sort of ticket. We could see what the ticket is, what the text is, and then sort of change its state from open to in progress to done. And we'll just try to do that from the same user and do both sides of both the submitter and the reviewer of the ticket. So let's go ahead and I'll add a new page for make it like a ticket submit form. And it's interesting that when you're creating a page, this kind of forces you to use this underscore case labeling for page names. Oh, this is looking responsive design. Oh, it's set to fixed width. Okay. So we want to change the setting of this page. What is this? Beta. Interesting. So it looks like they're still testing out responsive design. CSS Flexbox. Okay. Okay, so responsive is enabled. Can I change this? And it won't let me do anything. Interesting. What's going on? Did this crash already? Well, golly, I think it crashed. That's really weird because the sample page they gave me certainly seemed to be a responsive design. So what the heck's going on here? Was the landing page that they gave a beta test page? That's really weird that they would do that. That the features not really roll out, but yet the landing page that the default landing page they gave you is responsive. Got some sort of JavaScript problem going on. Not exactly sure what that is. Yeah, but this responsive design thing isn't working out too good. I can't really do anything with this. That's weird. So I guess we're kind of stuck with the fixed page. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to set the data for this thing. So we're going to make a workflow for this thing. This submit button. Create a thing. These things are pretty much the what would be like a data model, I guess, or a database table. That's what I think they're calling a thing is. I don't know. Data model in Rails, that is. Okay, so we create a new thing. Can we configure what that thing is? Okay, that is weird how this box sometimes pops up but doesn't. Alright. Create new type. Let's call this ticket. Okay, make it only available when the current user is logged in. I have create new ticket twice. Why is that? That's weird. Oh, create a new field. Okay. That's what I want. The field, I guess, is kind of like a database column. We could call this description. Okay, and we'll make it a text. Yeah. And reset inputs. Okay. Gosh darn it! I have to like triple click that. That thing doesn't really show up too easily. Set description equal to, oh, the multi-line input support ticket description value. That's that box I made. And here we'll set the status on that. Here's where status our state machine comes into play. So I guess we're doing an enumeration, and it's interesting that I don't know if there's a way to set up discrete enumerations in this system yet. It's not really apparent to me if there is a way to do that, so we're just going to go with text. And we're going to set the initial text to the custom value, to a specific value of arbitrary text. Okay, I guess it's arbitrary. Okay. Open ticket. Wait, could we just do open? No, it has to be arbitrary text. And then you don't see what that is. You have to click this to go there and find out what it is. Well, let's see what happens. You know what? I think next I'm going to create another page where we could view these tickets. Could I set the user on the ticket too? That would be useful information to have. Yeah, because you'd want the ticket to be associated with the user, right? Okay, so we'll set create new field user to. Oh, okay, cool. Database relation. I guess that's how you do relations. I guess the current user. Okay. Now here's an interesting thing. How do you set a random ticket number on this thing? Ticket ID. So apparently it doesn't force underscore case for this. That's weird. Okay. This is going to be weird. So page names have to have like an underscore case to them, and they have to be lowercase, but field names, like you would with a database, you could have spaces in. Interesting. Maybe we should do the other fields that way as well, but let's see here. Do we want a text-based ticket name, or do we want a number? We could do number. An incremental number, if it'll let us do that. And that is interesting. How do you do a calculation like that? I guess there is calculate formula. No, that's not the type of formula that I'm thinking of. I just want a random number. Or some sort of ID number. Can you do that with the system? No. Oh, this is a bad interface. Could I change? Okay. Could I change? No, I don't want to calculate formula now. But it won't let me change this. That's not great UI. I could change this here from current user, but if I want to make a ticket ID, how do I change that? If I go to calculate formula, I can't change calculate formula from something else. I can't change arbitrary text either. So if it brings up the pop-up, I can't change what it is. Interesting. That's really bizarre. This I could change. It just feels kind of incomplete. And then what if I want to change what these fields are? I have to delete the whole thing. Wow, that's really... I wonder what the best practice is. Or if they even thought through what the best practice should be for this. And it's interesting. Ticket ID is always popping up on this list now too. So did I by trying to set this up, did I add something called ticket ID as a database column that can't be removed now? And that's an interesting question. App data. Okay, here we go. We're on the app data administration screen. I could see what these are. Could I change these fields? Oh, wow, create a date, modified dates there. That's weird. Okay. I guess it automatically makes those, so I probably don't need to submit that. But how can I modify this schema? Here we go. Ah, here we go. I got rid of the submitted at. I don't need that. This ticket ID, I don't know how to populate this with something scripted, which is like just a random number. Okay, so it looks like I got rid of that. Oh, what is this? It creates something else. All tickets and all tickets modified. I don't want that. No. I didn't want to make a copy. That's really weird. You can't even change your database schema. Wow. I mean, what if I actually had data in there? That would be a problem. Oh, wait a second. There's a modify here. Oh, you can't modify. Wait, what's this? Import data. Modify. There's modify for importing data. That's kind of misleading. Upgraded plan. So modify is for bulk modifying the data somehow. And that's for okay, so that is an import. Why would they call it modify? You're not modifying the table, you're modifying the data, and you're adding to it. It should be like an insert operation. But what's the difference between upload and modify? Like, that's really weird. That's really weird to me. You can upload CSV. Oh, okay. So modify is probably like an update. So if you use the identifiers, I guess there's IDs somewhere around here. I don't know. Okay, well let's just test out that form and see if we get it to work. We'll try to test out that ticket submit form, and we'll see what happens if we submit a ticket. What happens? Oh, this is ugly. What happened to the nice big multi-line text box that we had? Help. I can't figure out how to use this application. Okay, so we'll submit that. And reset the inputs, now what? Well, I guess I didn't do a redirect thing in the workflow, right? I probably have to redirect to a success page, I guess. Well, okay. We could add that to workflow easily enough. But let's see what it did to our data. Did it work? Reloading the page. Yeah, it didn't seem to work. What's going on here? Let's do this. We'll create a new page. Well, okay, let's try this pop-up thing. I'll try to pop up. See if we could do a success pop-up. Come on, pop-up. Okay. Ticket successfully created. All right. All right. So we'll do the workflow for that button. Get me out of here. We'll navigate you to the index page. All right. Now that should create the thing in the database. So when the button is may create a new ticket. I mean, is this causing a problem? We don't have to do submitted at. Okay, we'll take that off. I wonder what the unique ID would be for the ticket. Okay, anyway. Maybe that was breaking the workflow. If it was, then that's problematic because you would want to know when there's an error going on, but I digress. Let's see. Okay, so we're on this page. Help. I need some IT support fast. And it didn't pop up. The pop-up. What's going on here? So when this button is clicked, wait a second, okay. It should be creating this new ticket. Oh, wait, maybe I'm not logged in. Oh, that's problematic. That must be what it is. I'm not logged in. We may have discovered a gotcha here. Yeah, I'm not logged in. Okay. Okay, so I'm logged in. Ticket submit form. Help. Um... What's going on? Okay, there's a little exclamation point there. What does that mean? Oh, there we go. Okay, the last two tickets submitted okay. The pop-up didn't show up. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I didn't have that in the workflow. Let's double check. So we probably need to plan for it if you're not logged in. If you try to access this page, it takes you somewhere else. We could fix this up. Let's here. How do we set the page properties? Okay. So conditional. How do we make this only accessible when you're logged in? Do we got something here? No, conditional when current user is logged in. Yeah, okay, it is not oh, I guess is logged out. Select the property to change when true. Can we navigate? I want to navigate you away from here. What is this junk? Oh, that's not what I want. I want to navigate off of this page. How do we protect this page? You know what? Maybe this has to be a workflow. When okay, when condition is true. What condition? Okay, only when the current user is logged out. Navigate, go to the index page. Okay. Okay. Maybe that's what we want to do. And then, like, how can we do conditionals on this? So, create a new ticket only when the user is logged in. What happens when the user is not logged in? Should that be like yet another workflow? Okay, here. Elements when element is clicked. When submit button is clicked. Okay. navigation. Well, actually, no, we shouldn't have to worry about that because we have this when the current user is logged out. So this should redirect us to the index page, I would think. Okay, so okay, reset the inputs. Okay, I forgot to add the pop-up thing here, so we're going to add that. Element action, show element pop-up A. Okay. We're not logged in, so why isn't it redirecting us? It should be redirecting us. Okay. Okay, well, here, why don't we try a different one? General user is logged out. Maybe this is the one we should be using for that. Go to the index page. Okay, I'll try that one instead. Yeah, redirect is still not working. Well, am I logged in? Maybe I'm logged in. Here, we're going to add the header to this thing. Header. So that I can log out. I can see the status of log in or log out. And I don't know why this multi-line text box is like this. Input. Can we force this thing to be a certain height? It's not working. So this is a little clunky. I want it to be a certain height. Layout. Fixed. That's weird. This isn't working like I'm expecting it to because it's just the one liner. I don't know why it's not multiple lines or taller like I'm have it here. But anyway, preview this, see what happens. Okay, so we log out. Oh, okay, good. It's redirected us. Excellent. Okay, so on that home page, let's go back to the home page. Well, I'm not gonna get too fancy on navigation here. We'll rely on the buttons. Okay. Let's start workflow. Navigation to go to page, ticket submit form. Okay, so we're just going to navigate that way. And we'll preview this. Create a new ticket. And we go there and it moves us right back here. Okay. Okay. It's interesting that it rendered all those components on the page. There's probably a way to prevent them from rendering, but that's okay. It routed us back here, so that page wouldn't really do anything. But I think like in a Rails app, it wouldn't even render those components on the page. It would just automatically redirect you here based on the header information. And we're logging this back here. Okay. Okay, now we go to create new ticket. Okay, testing out the pop-up. Submit. All right, successfully created. Get me out of here. All right, so let's check our data. And we have to reload this page to see it. Oh, tickets. There we go. Now we could create the admin type of screen where we could look at the types of we could just basically make a grid to display all this data. But the problem is, how could we have two types of users? Because what I'd really like to do is I would like to add fields as users. Would I have to create like another form for administering the users where I create those types? That would be interesting. So maybe I have to create like an admin page for these users to add user properties. Why don't we try that out actually? Okay, so here's kind of a weird thing that I want to talk about. When I was working on this demo and just kind of playing around with this app, I got this message from Bubble about the demo app I was building saying that my Google Map uh, feature got rate limited. But that's really weird because I'm not even using the Google Map thing in this application. So why the heck would it be doing a high number of Google Map loads? That's an interesting question. And then to get a warning about being rate limited about it. So I think this could be some sort of a glitch, or it could indicate that Bubble is doing a lot of, a lot more things behind the scenes on the page than we know about. I don't really know what to think about this message, but I just found it to be interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to make a user management form. So I'm going to create a new page. Let's just call it user management. And to select the user that you're editing, I think we'll use a repeating group thing here. How can we arrange this page? Okay, so this would be a user. And I think the way that you would select something out of this is by using like a load button. Maybe this is just like one way to do it. But I know this probably isn't the greatest way of doing it. But I think this should work. I wish there was a better way of selecting things. Like, this is just a group. It's like a data table. But I don't know if it allows like the end user to select something in here. Like the style that this uses is to, well, actually, there's a drop down thing here. This is interesting. We should probably use a drop down. But that's okay. We'll use this for now. We'll use this for now. Probably could use the drop down. We'll convert that to the drop down later. But just in the interest of time, I'm going to set this up. Have this set up some sort of a data for the form. We'll set the state of user management, a state name. I think that's really weird. The page name has to be underscore case, but for everywhere else you could use like a regular text string. That's interesting. Okay. See, I can't like wrap this inside of a string here. Could I do something like this? Let's see if that works. Nope, I don't think it. Oh, wait. I think maybe this will work. Okay. We could interpolate. Enter reviewer Yeah, and then you'd be able to do both. So at this point right now, I'm going to skip ahead through this video bit because when I was looking at this video footage to edit it, I didn't think it was very interesting. I was kind of struggling with getting the correct user to load and being able to add the role data field there and make sure that saved correctly. That was kind of problematic for me, and I was just doing a whole bunch of trial and error with the workflows and trying to get the data bindings right, and I found that difficult to do. Maybe if I had more time with this app, I could probably figure out what the little quirks are, but I think the main thing that I want to get to with this application is to kind of show you the thought process that it takes to run a bubble and what how the app is just kind of structured and kind of makes you problem solve in order to get to what you want. For me as a web developer, this app hides a lot of things that I'm used to seeing from a technical side, and it tries to kind of protect the user from having to deal with those details. But the difficulty is that things like data bindings or adding a data field, you basically end up doing the same thing in the end, but you have to do it a different way through their interface. So that was kind of what I was trying to figure out when I was doing this user management thing. And I got to a point where I had a box where I could change the role of a given user, but I still wasn't quite sure if it was working exactly the way that I wanted to, where the drop down would be able to allow you to search the user. There's so much more detail that you would have to add to a page like this to make sure that it was the user management page is protected so that the right kinds of users could access it. Basically, there's a lot more that you have to kind of plan and figure out to get this working. And then at that point, you're doing a lot of the same thinking that a Rails developer would in putting together a page. Oh, okay. So I got rid of that rule. Okay, so what we probably need to do is we probably need to add another rule that says that a certain, rather than the users could edit their own data, set up so that a certain role can edit data in the system. But anyway, so let's see if we could actually update this now and see what happens. Okay, so I hit save. Go to the app data. Refresh the page because it needs to do that for some reason, and the role is still not saved. This is getting really annoying. Why it's still not saving that? But anyway, you get the idea. I think there's definitely a little bit of a learning curve with this application, and I think once I figure out how to do that, there's a technique to it, and it would be repeatable, so I won't run into that sort of problem again once I figure this out and get this all memorized. And it'll probably take me several days to do that, but you just watched me kind of struggling through this as kind of a first-time run-through of Bubble as somebody who does other types of software development, kind of what my first impressions of this are. And there's a learning curve. I think like any framework, it has its particular quirks. It has certain capabilities which are kind of nice, but those little quirks certainly give this thing limitations, like the problems that we had, like with making custom data. I couldn't figure out how to do something like generate a random number or generate a random string. So if you have to like concatenate strings and do manipulation on the data, what am I going to need, like a plugin for that? I'm quite sure there probably is a plugin for that, but I mean that's a really basic thing that you would do in programming. So it would be a little weird that you'd have to jump through extra hoops to do something like that. Just put two strings together or make up a string or something. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it quits at this point here because I get the gist of what's going on. I hope you do too. And if you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm probably going to be posting more thoughts on low code following this video, so please stay tuned for that, and I'll see you next time.